Cao Cao scored a decisive victory over Lu Bu at Dingtao, forcing Lu Bu to gather the remnants of his defeated army and flee to the coast. Various commanders came to join him, intending to make another stand against Cao Cao. At this time, Chen Gong advised him, Cao Cao's forces are too strong right now. We should avoid direct confrontation for the time being. Find a safe place to settle first and wait for the right moment. Lu Bu asked, how about going to join Yuan Shao? Chen Gong suggested, it's better to first send someone to Jizhou to sound out the situation before making a decision. Lu Bu accepted the advice. In Jizhou, Yuan Shao heard that Cao Cao and Lu Bu were locked in fierce fighting. His advisor Shen Pei said, Lu Bu is like a ravenous wolf. If he takes Yenzhou, he will surely set his sights on Jizhou. It would be better to help Cao Cao deal with him now to avoid future trouble. Yuan Shao thus sent Yin Liang with 50,000 troops to aid Cao Cao. A spy quickly galloped to report this news to Lu Bu, who was alarmed and immediately discussed it with Chen Gong. Chen Gong said, I've heard that Liu Bei has just taken over Shuzhou. You could go to him for refuge. Lu Bu followed the suggestion and led his troops to Shuzhou. Someone reported the news to Liu Bei, who said, Lu Bu is a general of extraordinary valor. I should personally go to welcome him. But Mi Zhu cautioned, Lu Bu is like a wolf or tiger. Taking him in will only invite disaster. Liu Bei replied, wasn't the trouble in Yenzhou resolved when Lu Bu attacked? Now that he is desperate and seeks refuge, how could he harbor ill intent? Zhang Fei added, Elder brother, you are too kind-hearted. Even so, we should remain cautious. The next day, Lu Bu hosted a banquet for Liu Bei, who brought Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. Halfway through the drinking, Lu Bu invited Liu Bei into the back hall, with Guan and Zhang following. Lu Bu had his wife and daughter come out to pay respects to Liu Bei, who declined several times. Lu Bu said, you need not refuse, worthy younger brother. At this, Zhang Fei glared and cursed. My elder brother is of imperial blood. Who are you to call him younger brother? Come on, I'll fight you 300 bouts. Liu Bei quickly stopped him, and Guan Yu persuaded Zhang Fei to leave. Liu Bei apologized to Lu Bu. My younger brother spoke rashly under the influence of wine. Please don't take offense. Lu Bu said nothing. Soon the feast ended, and as Lu Bu escorted Liu Bei out, Zhang Fei rode up with spear in hand, shouting, Lu Bu, I'll fight you 300 bouts. Guan Yu again restrained him. The following day, Lu Bu came to take his leave, saying, though I am grateful for your hospitality, I fear your brothers will not tolerate me. I should find another place. Liu Bei replied, if you leave, I will be greatly at fault. My younger brother offended you. I'll have him apologize another day. The nearby town of Xiaopei is where I once stationed my troops. If you don't mind, you could reside there temporarily. I will supply all provisions. Lu Bu thanked him and went to Xiaopei with his troops. Liu Bei did not blame Zhang Fei further. After pacifying Shandong, Cao Cao reported to the court and was appointed general of Jianda and Marquis of Fighting. Meanwhile, Li Ju named himself Grand Marshal, and Guisi named himself General-in-Chief, dominating the court unchecked. Grand Commandant Yang Biao and Minister of Finance Zhu Jun privately advised Emperor Xian, Cao Cao commands over 200,000 troops and has many strategists and generals. If we could invite him to assist the court in eliminating traitors, it would be a great blessing for the realm. The emperor wept. I have been oppressed by these two villains for too long. If they could be destroyed, it would indeed be a blessing. Yang Biao proposed, I have a plan. Let the two villains turn on each other, then summon Cao Cao to quell the chaos. That will stabilize the court. The emperor asked how. Yang Biao said, it's said that Guisi's wife is extremely jealous. We can use a rift to set them against each other. The emperor issued a secret edict to Yang Biao, who had his wife visit Guoxi's residence under another pretext, and privately told Guo's wife, "I hear General Guo is overly close to Grand Marshal Li's wife. If the marshal learns of this, he will surely harm you. You would be wise to end such contact." Guo's wife was shocked. "No wonder he stays out at night. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known. I will be careful from now on." She thanked Yang Biao's wife profusely. A few days later, when Guoxi was about to go drink at Li Ju's, his wife warned him not to go, fearing Li Ju would poison him. He ignored her. That night, Li Ju sent food and wine to Guo's home. Guo's wife secretly poisoned it before it was served. When Guo was about to eat, she insisted they test it on a dog first. The dog died instantly, and Guo grew suspicious. One day after court, Li Ju dragged Guoxi to his home for drinks. That night, Guo returned drunk, clutching his stomach. His wife exclaimed, "You've been poisoned," and had him force vomit, saving his life. Furious, Guoxi said, "I have worked alongside Li Ju, and now he tries to kill me? I should strike first." He secretly readied troops to attack Li Ju. Li Ju heard and fumed. How dare Guoxi? And also mobilized. The two fought in the streets, plundering civilians. Li Ju's nephew Li Xian surrounded the palace with troops, loading the emperor into one carriage and Empress Fu into another, escorted by Jia Su and Zhuo Ling, while eunuchs and palace women fled on foot. At the rear gate, they ran into Guoxi's men, who rained arrows, killing many. Li Ju's forces arrived, driving Guo's troops back, and took the emperor to Li's camp. Guoxi then stormed into the palace, seized the palace women, and set the buildings ablaze. The next day, upon learning that Li Ju had abducted the emperor, Guoxi attacked his camp. The emperor and empress were terrified. Later generations composed poems lamenting the bloody chaos of this time. When Guoxi's troops arrived, Li Ju fought back and drove them off temporarily. Li Ju moved the emperor and empress to Mei Fortress, placing Li Xian to guard and cutting off all outside contact. Food was scarce, and the courtiers were gaunt. When the emperor asked Li Ju for 5 bushels of rice and 5 sets of ox bones for his attendants, Li Ju angrily said, "I feed you daily. What more do you want?" and sent only rotten meat and spoiled grain, inedible. The emperor cursed him, but Yang Biao urged patience. Suddenly, news came that troops were approaching to rescue the emperor. It was Guoxi's army, which made him more anxious. Outside, shouts rang out. Li Ju had met Guoxi in battle. They traded insults before deciding to duel for the right to take the emperor. After 10 bouts without a winner, Yang Biao rode in, urging peace. Both returned to camp. Yang Biao and Zhu Jun then went to Guo's camp to mediate, but Guo imprisoned them, saying, "If Li Ju can seize the emperor, I can seize the ministers." Yang Biao retorted, "One seizes the emperor, the other seizes the ministers. What are you both trying to do?" Guo angrily tried to kill him, but was dissuaded. He released only Yang and Zhu, keeping the rest captive. Yang lamented that they could not save the emperor, fainting in grief. Zhu fell ill and died. Li Ju and Guoxi fought daily for over 50 days, with heavy casualties. Li Ju trusted witches and ignored Jia Su's advice to abandon such practices. Yang Qi secretly told the emperor that Jia Su still held loyalty to the throne. Summoned in private, Jia Su swore to help. Later, Li Ju accused Guoxi of plotting to abduct the emperor. The emperor sent Huanfu Li to mediate. Guoxi said he would release the ministers if Li Ju released the emperor. Li Ju refused, boasting of his merits and scorning Guoxi. Huanfu Li warned him about the folly of relying on brute force, angering him into drawing his sword. Only Yang Feng and Jia Su's persuasion spared Li's life. Huan Fuli then spread word among Li Ju's largely Shiliang troops that he was a rebel, undermining morale. Jia Su told the Chang soldiers they could return home with imperial favor, prompting them to leave. Jia Su advised the emperor to grant Li Ju high office to placate him, which he did, making him grand marshal. This enraged Yang Feng, who plotted to kill Li Ju, but the plan leaked and failed. Soon, Zhang Ji arrived from Shaanxi to mediate, threatening force if they refused. Both Li and Guo agreed to peace, and Zhang Ji proposed moving the emperor to Hongnou. The emperor rejoiced and appointed Zhang Ji general of agile cavalry. Zhang Ji supplied food and wine, Guo released the ministers, and Li Ju escorted the emperor east. Passing through Xinfeng to Beiling, a sudden autumn wind rose. At a bridge, several hundred troops blocked the way, demanding to see the emperor. When they confirmed his presence, they let him pass. The officers reported back to Guisi, who became enraged at losing the chance to seize the emperor again, executed them, and pursued. At Huayin County, Gui's troops closed in. The emperor lamented, "Out of the wolf's den, into the tiger's mouth, what now?" Just then, drums sounded and Yang Feng appeared with over 1,000 troops, defeating Guisi's forces. The emperor praised him, and Yang introduced Su Huang, the warrior who had slain Gui's officer. The next day, Guo attacked again, besieging the emperor and Yang Feng, but Dongcheng's arrival from the southeast broke the siege. Dongcheng vowed with Yang to kill the two traitors. Guo retreated and met Li Ju, proposing that they join forces to kill the emperor at Hongnou and divide the realm. They ravaged the land as they advanced. Yang and Dong fought them fiercely at Dongjian, managing to save the emperor's carriage but losing most supplies. They called on outlaw leaders Han Xian, Li Lu, and Hu Kai for aid. Li Ju and Guisi slaughtered civilians and pressed able-bodied men into service. When Li Li's army arrived, Gui scattered clothing along the road. Li Li's men broke ranks to loot, allowing Li and Guo to surround and rout them. Yang Feng and Dongcheng fled north with the emperor, closely pursued. Hu Kai was killed in the chaos. Reaching the Yellow River with the enemy closing in, they used horse reins and lengths of cloth to lower the emperor and empress into a boat. Li Lu stood guard with sword in hand, cutting down those who tried to board without permission. Once across, only a dozen people remained with the emperor. Yang Feng found an ox cart to carry him to Daong. They went hungry and slept in ruined huts, eating coarse rice from local elders. The emperor rewarded his rescuers with military titles. On the way, Yang Biao and Han Rong caught up, weeping and greeting. Han Rong volunteered to persuade Li Ju and Guisi to cease hostilities. In Ani, the emperor and empress lived in a thatched hut surrounded by thorn fences. Li Lu and Han Xian acted arrogantly, even nominating criminals to office, using awls to carve seals when real ones ran out. Han Rong convinced the traitors to release the ministers and palace women. That year's famine was severe. Officials in Henei and Hedong sent provisions. Dongcheng and Yang Feng prepared to restore the emperor to Luoyang, but Li Lu refused. They secretly escorted him toward Ji Pass, pursued by Li Li's forces. Fires blazed on the mountain as cries rang out. Last time 2 traitors split apart, this time 3 have joined as one. Whether the Han Emperor can escape, see the next chapter to find out. Summary. This chapter depicts the chaos of the late Han court and the emperor's desperate wanderings. Cao Cao defeats Lu Bu, who first seeks Yuan Shao, then Liu Bei, but ends up in Xiaobei due to Zhang Fei's hostility. In the court, Li Ju and Guisi's constant infighting plunges the emperor into misery. Schemes by Yang Biao and Jia Su eventually weaken them, but Emperor Xian endures constant hardship, relying on Yang Feng, Dong Cheng, and Li Lu for survival. In the end, the three traitors unite to threaten the emperor again, setting the stage for further peril. The chapter vividly portrays the warlord struggles, the court's impotence, and the people's suffering in a time of chaos. Knowledge points. 1. Historically, Li Ju and Guisi did indeed cause turmoil in Chang'an, plundering the court and clashing with outside forces like Yang Feng and Dong Cheng, leaving Emperor Xian in a precarious position. However, dramatic details in the novel, such as cutting meat from retainers' thighs to feed the emperor, are fictional embellishments absent from historical records like records of the Three Kingdoms. 2. In the novel, Ma Teng and Han Sui march into Chang'an to rescue the emperor, but historically, while they had conflicts with Li Ju and Guisi, they did not mount such a large-scale rescue.